What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of UGUE Brothers Vlogs. Guys, I got another installment of Savage Kitchen. And guys, this is another chicken recipe. I know I basically just did one. Honestly, I kind of played around with the idea of doing a different type of dish. But basically, I just chose to stick with the same sort of meat, I guess, but in a different form of cooking. I think it'd be kind of cool to sort of do, like, choose a particular, like, thing to make and then sort of make it three different ways, or just, because I know a lot of people don't necessarily have an Instapot or a Ninja Fooey or something like that. So I want to do a wide range of things like slow cooker, oven stuff, stove stuff, lots of different things. I just want to get crazy with it. I mean, that's a big part of Savage Kitchen, of course. It's just adventure. I mean, that's a big part of the UGUE brand in general, is just experimentation. It's experience. It's just seeing what's out there and try different things. I love to cook in that way because that's food. I mean, it's a big cultural thing, and there's so much experience to be had when it comes to cooking. And I believe in this day and age, honestly, it's a skill we really need to start bringing back, because I mean, it's really the only way you can control the expense of food. It's the only way to really control what's in your food. And it's the only really just to make sure you're eating healthier, cleaner, and reaching your goals, whether that might be losing weight, gaining weight, maintaining weight, whatever it is, because you know what's in it. Not to mention, you can actually build things to your flavor profile, and that's what I do in this kitchen. I try different things, I see what works, and mess around with things. Just get savage in the kitchen, and I try things. And being that this is like the colder months, and sort of like the holiday season, I feel like sort of more homier dishes start to come out, you know, like casseroles and things. And I found this really cool recipe that I wanted to try. I personally love like Thai type food, Thai flavors, anything with like really coconut milk involved in it. I really like those flavors. So I did want to try this, but my favorite part about this recipe is the absolute simplicity of it, the ease of it, and the fact that it's dirt cheap to get at the store. I mean, the most money that I spent in this entire recipe really was getting some coconut oil, and actually the broth really was probably the most expensive thing. It wasn't really even that bad. I just happened to get one of the sort of liquid at room temperature coconut oils, which you don't have to do that. You can easily just melt it before you put it on the chicken and stuff like that, which I'll discuss in a moment in the recipe part of this video. But my point is, feeding your family does not actually have to be really expensive. Eating clean and healthier doesn't have to be boring. You don't really have to be afraid of a bunch of things. You can try a lot of different things. This is actually how I eat on a regular basis. So, and if you haven't noticed, I've lost just under 50 pounds so far this year, just really eating stuff like this. I mean, you don't have to be scared of everything. The point of food really is to enjoy it. Enjoy what you're eating, and that's honestly the best way to really stay on anything anyway, is to enjoy what you're eating. So I encourage anybody out there, especially now, with everything that's going on and as expensive as things have gotten and all the issues people have with the job situation and all that stuff out there, to start really learning how to cook. I mean, I know it can be sort of like scary at first, but there's a lot of things out there just like this recipe that are just so freaking easy. If you can turn on the oven and use a can opener, I mean, you can make this dish. I mean, this is not hard whatsoever, and it's so cheap. So I'm making Thai coconut rice, Thai chicken coconut rice casserole. That's only words. But this dish is just so stinking easy. All the ingredients are easy to find. They're really inexpensive. Now, you can make this slightly more inexpensive, or slightly more expensive if you go with chicken breast. The one cool thing about like chicken leg quarters, chicken thighs, like dark meat in general, when it comes to poultry, is so much cheaper, especially if you get things that are bone in and skin on. One of the cheapest things you can do is obviously get a whole chicken, but I think I got 4 like sizable chicken thighs for like $4, and you could probably even get that even cheaper, like, you know, because as many of you know, I tend to like, for recipes like this, just real quick, where I just need to get a couple things. Publix is near me, so it's just easier to go there to get some of this stuff rather than go all the way to like Sam's or Costco or Walmart or any other stores that I might be able to get things cheaper. But you do what you have to do, because you can really play around with this. Now, the only thing with this particular dish, with exception to maybe changing the actual protein in this particular dish, is there's not really much else to change. You can't really experiment. One suggestion I would have is, if you like spice, to sort of throw in some more spice. I do want to experiment a little bit with adding in some more curry-like flavors, because curry and coconut milk go really well. But I chose to keep this dish the way it was because of the fact that it's just this easy. I mean, I think the actual recipe portion of this video is really only like a few minutes long. It's not even that long. Everything is basically just put it in the thing, cover it, put it in the oven, and you're good until you have to broil it. I mean, it's almost no steps, almost no prep. I mean, easy peasy lemon squeezy. I imagine that you probably could even find a way to do this like in a slow cooker. If you need more, you can make some adjustments with bigger pans or multiple pans. This particular dish serves 4, so 4 chicken thighs. You could probably fit more. The actual base recipe, which I will have in the description. A lot of you guys saw that I put it in the last description. You're really happy about that, so I'm definitely gonna make sure I do that this time. But 4 chicken thighs and only about 2 cups of rice. I will say there's a lot more, because the rice sort of absorbs a lot of the stuff in the casserole and it comes thicker. There's a lot of it. It is a very, very filling dish. You know, you may be able to change the rice for some things, but honestly, the way this dish is, I really wouldn't change a ton. Maybe add some things, but I really wouldn't change a ton, because it's so freaking cheap. I mean, you could like, it's just amazing how you could really get something that's so incredibly flavorful for almost no money that you could feed your whole family. You know, Joe and I are always on a budget because we have to spend so much money like doing things for the businesses that we run. You know, production companies are expensive, so that's where most of our money goes. So we're always tight in terms of food. So I always like to find things that are inexpensive. You know, that's how I learned growing up, going to college, doing all these things and trying to eat when I didn't have any money. You know, these are some good ways to do it. Actually have real meals that cost nothing. And a dish like this would cost you a quarter of the cost as it would to go out. I mean, in most cases, it'd be the quarter of the cost of you going to like McDonald's and Burger King and getting meals now. So I don't know. It's just something to think about, even if you don't know anything about cooking, to sort of learn some basics, because I think it'd just be best for you. Like I said, it's great for you to be healthier. It's great for you to control your weight if you want. You know, lose weight, gain weight, maintain that weight, because you know what's going in it. You're not eating anything crazy. You control all the calories in it. You know, and it's just, you know what's in it, so you don't have to be scared that anything's gonna go wrong. It's just worth it. I mean, it's a lost art, really, home cooking nowadays, because we've gotten to a point where all of us are working all the time, and I think we should really start going back to that. I don't know, something to think about. I'm not putting that on anybody. I'm just saying, like, it may be worth learning a couple things. And I picked this particular dish because it wasn't like a ninja foodie, because I know a lot of you guys don't have it. It's something that you could just throw in the oven. It's real stinking simple and came out fantastic. I mean, it's just worth doing. So anyway, guys, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get to the recipe portion of this video. Let's do it. All right, so here we go. This is all you're going to need. All ingredients, easy to find, easy to get, incredibly inexpensive. I mean, the flavor in this dish, like, just think about how simple it is to make this dish and how inexpensive it is. The amount of flavor and the experience of this whole dish that you get is just freaking incredible. The first thing you want to do is you're going to want a medium, sort of large size onion. I went with a standard white onion. You can play around with this if you want. Get a sweet onion, get a red onion, you know, a lot of different kinds of onions out there. Just choose one that you like. Personally, I think the standard white onion is just fine. So all I did was go ahead and give this a quick chop. Doesn't have to be ultra fine, just fine enough. Then you're going to take your parsley, give it a fine chop, and also set that aside. Just make sure if you do get it fresh like this, you make sure you rinse it. You can use dry in this to save a little money. I just don't think it's going to be quite as flavorful. You don't need a ton, and I just use standard curly parsley. You can use Italian if you want. It doesn't really matter. Just get whatever you can get. Then you're going to take your thyme. Go ahead and peel off the leaves. Easiest way to do that is just take the stem like you see there and just pull the leaves off. You're only going to need about 2 tablespoons of this, not a ton, so don't sit there and empty out a whole package. If you can get actual fresh, I would go there. I couldn't find that, so I got sort of the semi-fresh stuff in the package, which is fine. It's plenty of flavor. It's really good. Next, you're going to go ahead and take 4 good-sized bone-in, skin-on chicken thighs. Just pat it dry. Some people wash their chicken. I think that kind of makes it kind of weird. If you honestly have to wash your chicken, you probably just need to throw your chicken away. I'm just saying. Just pat it dry. Give it a hefty amount of salt and pepper. Just don't go mega heavy, obviously. Just, enough. Cover it thoroughly on both sides to flavor your chicken. You can add some more seasonings if you want. Play around with that. I did not, and this recipe did not call for it, but if you want to, try it. Give it a try and see what happens. So all you're going to need is a good size baking dish. Just one like you. It doesn't have to be blue like mine, although blue's pretty stinking nice. Take about 2 cups of jasmine rice. You can use brown rice if you want. It's just going to take a lot longer to cook, so just keep that in mind. But jasmine is just fine. Pro tip there is just make sure you do wash your rice. Just fill it up. Keep filtering it through until the water itself is clear, and then you're good to go. And then go ahead and put that at the bottom of your dish. 1 can of coconut milk. I use Thai Kitchen. You do not have to use Thai Kitchen. There's a whole bunch of different coconut milks out there. Canned coconut milk, unsweetened, not the stuff that you might find to drink necessarily. This is a little bit more of a creamier consistency. That's why I went with the can. That's going to come in handy. Not coconut cream. Coconut milk, though. Make sure it's unsweetened coconut milk in the can. Then you're going to need about 1.5 cups of chicken broth. Low sodium. I went with organic. You don't necessarily need to do that. Just something if you want to. That's just going to cost you a little bit more. But I went with organic, low sodium chicken broth. Chicken stock, rather. I'm sorry. And then you're going to go ahead and dump all of your onions in there. And then you're going to go ahead and actually put the 2 tablespoons of fresh thyme on top of that. The parsley will come in later with the thyme. And then just go ahead and give it a nice stir. Mix it all up. Make sure it's sort of evenly distributed. And flatten it out. And then once you get that done, first of all, let's just look at it. I mean, it already looks delicious. A lot of people thought that was a sauce or something. It's not. When I posted it on Instagram, definitely not a sauce, but it already looks just colorful and beautiful already. And then just go ahead and toss your chicken thighs in there just like you see there. Just don't squish it down. It doesn't need to be submerged. It's right there on top. And then you're going to take your coconut oil. Now, I spent a little bit more money. I got an organic liquid at room temperature oil. You do not have to do that. You can get a less expensive one if you want to, or if that's what you have in your house. Just melt it first. You don't need a ton. You just want enough to sort of thoroughly coat the outside, the top of your chicken. Don't need to worry about anything that's submerged. You don't need to worry about the other side. Doesn't matter. It's relevant. That's going to come into play later. While it's cooking, it is going to help flavor that chicken a little bit more, but also it is going to help the skin get crisped up later down the line. And then you're just going to cover that up with a good piece of tin foil, seal it up completely, not a tent, completely covered and sealed just like you see there. Stick it in a preheated 350 degree oven. Just basically throw it in there and leave it. It takes you about an hour to cook. And we're about to see. Wait until you see when this comes out of the oven. I think I even dropped this in slow-mo just because you kind of have to drop it in slow-mo just out of respect for how amazing the dish looks. Just wait for this amazing tin foil peel. Just wait for it. Just wait for it. Just a moment of silence. Just a moment of silence. And it's like angels sing. Oh, look at that. Already looks amazing. What you see there is all that flavor, all the coconut milk and everything soaked up into that jasmine rice. Jasmine rice is already extremely flavorful and aromatic anyway, but with that coconut and the onion and everything, oh my God, it's so good. Basically, what you see me doing here is you just turn on the broiler about high temperature, uncovered. Put it back in the oven for about 10 minutes, no longer than 10 minutes, and make sure you watch it because this will burn. If you want to go ahead and throw some extra coconut oil on top of that before you put it in there, you can. But basically, this is what it is. Nice little crust on the top of that rice. Toast up some of those onions. You get a little bit of that caramelization. And then you get that crispy skin. I check this with a thermometer when it comes to chicken or any kind of poultry. I do not mess around. I always make sure I check it with a meat thermometer. If you can test it another way and you feel comfortable doing that, do you, boo-boo. But I'm not messing around with poultry. Take your parsley and just sprinkle it all over the place, just like you see here. Beautiful, just speckled, fresh, green parsley on top of that. That's going to add an awesome bit of flavor to everything. And look just how gorgeous this looks. I mean, this looks like something you might order in a restaurant someplace, but it's not. It's so simple to make. Easy breezy lemon squeezy kind of deal. So inexpensive you would not know that this was that simple to make. And anybody who eats this, receives this at the table, is going to be blown away. I mean, this is a crowd pleaser for sure. I mean, the rice has this very casserole-like consistency, very creamy, much thicker, has a lot of that coconut flavor. Now, the coconut flavor is going to be diluted a bit with the chicken stock, the fat from the chicken, the onion, and the thyme, of course. And if you add a lot more spice in there, that will cut the coconut a lot more than mine was. So if you are not somebody who enjoys just straight up coconut milk or coconut flavor, it's really not that potent. It's just very, very subtle and creamy. I believe you can basically switch this out for like almond milk or oat milk to get that creamy consistency. Just won't have the flavor, so you are going to need to season it. But oh my God, this dish is good. I mean, it's packed with flavor. You got the skin was super crispy. The chicken, so incredibly juicy. You actually see kind of my face a little bit when I had the rice because it was freaking boiling hot. And I was trying to keep my composure. But it's that good. Sometimes it's that good. You just got to burn your mouth. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, you can't freaking wait. Boom. All right, guys, that is it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. Please comment, like, subscribe as usual. Be on the lookout because we got tons of stuff coming, guys. Thanks so much for all of your support and all of this, guys. I'm happy to be back doing these again. And be on the lookout, man. 2021 is going to be freaking insane. Joe and I are actually in the process of planning some things in the next week or so. So be on the lookout for us to announce some things on there for sure. Anyway, guys, get savage in those kitchens, guys. Try it. Try it. I think you might like it. You never really know. You never really know. Anyway, guys, stay strong. Stay blessed. Stay savage, guys. Peace out. Boom, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode.